Wonders of the Living World. Presented by Science and Technology Online Classroom. The environment is our surrounding, including us. It consists of land, water bodies, houses, plants, animals, etc. You can observe many different things in the environment. Different environments consist of different components. Components with a growth are called living things or living organisms. The components without a growth are called non-living things. Living things or organisms. It's clear that living things can be divided into two main groups as plants and animals. Are there any other organisms except plants and animals? Some organisms that cannot be observed with the naked eye are called microorganisms. A large number of microorganisms can be seen in water, soil, air, and in rotten food. The compound microscope is used to observe things that cannot be seen with the naked eye. Accordingly, organisms can be divided into three main groups. They are plants, animals, and microorganisms. Characteristics of organisms. Growth. These photographs show how the size of plants and animals is increased with age. This increase in size, height, or amount is called growth. Growth is a common feature of organisms. There is no growth in non-living things. Nutrition. All organisms, including humans, need food for survival. Satisfying the food requirements of organisms is called nutrition. Most green plants produce food within themselves. Hence, these plants are called autotrophic. They use carbon dioxide from air, soil, water, and sunlight to produce food. This process is called photosynthesis. Animals can't produce their own food. They depend on plants directly or indirectly. Therefore, animals are considered as heterotrophic. Animals such as deer, cows, etc. take plants as food. They depend on plants, directly. But animals such as tiger, lion take flesh as food. So, they depend on plants indirectly. Movement. Showing different movements is a common feature of living organisms. Apart from movements, some animals can move from place to place. Animals moving from one place to another place is called locomotion. There are special appendages for animals for locomotion. Several locomotions of animals such as swimming, creeping, running, flying, walking, etc. There are some animals and plants that cannot move, but they show different movements. Movements of animals. Sea anemone, coral polyp living in oceans are such animals. Movement of plants. After a touch, the leaves of a touch-me-not mimosa plant shows a sleeping movement. Also, Albizia, Sisbenia, tamarind leaves show sleeping movements in the evening. Although plants show many other movements, they cannot be observed during a short period of time. When a plant is kept on a window sill, after some days the stem of the plant bends towards the sunlight. This too is a movement of a plant. Non-living things do not move on their own. Non-living things will move only when an external force is applied. Respiration. When a person is lying in a relaxed position, you will see that his chest and the stomach move up and down. Why? It is because we take air in, inhale, and release air out, exhale. Oxygen in the air, once breathed in, reacts with the food stored in the body and produces energy. This process is called respiration. In the process of respiration, oxygen is used and carbon dioxide is released. Oxygen needed to breathe is taken in by inhaling while the produced carbon dioxide is released by exhaling. The chest moves up and down because of the process of inhaling and exhaling. These movements are called respiratory movements. Plants too breathe, but they do not show respiratory movements as animals. Respiration is a common feature of every organism. There is no respiration in non-living things. The patients with respiratory difficulties are given oxygen artificially. Also, mountain climbers and divers use artificial oxygen. Reproduction. It is obvious that every organism dies one day or the other. So, for the continuation of the living world, it is essential to have new generations. A matured living being producing new members of the same species is known as reproduction. Reproduction of organisms occurs in different methods. Reproduction is essential for the existence of living organisms. It's common for all organisms. Reproduction does not occur in non-living things. Differences between animals and plants. Diversity of plants. There is a vast diversity among plants and animals in the environment. Based on the nature of plants, they can be categorized as plants, trees, shrubs and creepers. Also, there is diversity among plants in relation to morphological features such as roots, stem, leaves, flowers, shape, size and color of fruits and seeds. Plants grow not only on the terrestrial environments but also on aquatic, coastal and mangrove environments. Diversity of animals. Based on living environment, habitat, they can be categorized as terrestrial, aquatic, air. Based on the feeding mechanism, they can be categorized as chew and swallow, swallow without chewing, chew, suck. Based on the type of food, they can be categorized as carnivores, omnivores, herbivores. Based on external characteristics, they can be categorized as color, shape, appendages. Based on the mode of locomotion, they can be categorized as walking, swimming, flying, creeping. Diversity among animals and plants is a very important factor for the environment. It increases the beauty of the nature too. So, it is our responsibility to care for and conserve the animals and plants. You must not discharge harmful materials to the environment. Hence, you too can take part in protecting the wonder of the nature. Differences between animals and plants. Characteristics of plants. Plants grow fixed to the ground. They do not show locomotion, but show movements. Produce their own food by photosynthesis. Hence, they are autotrophic. Chlorophyll is present within the cells. Growth is visible during the entire lifespan. Thus, growth is unlimited. Characteristics of animals. Animals show locomotion. Do not produce their own food. Depend on other plants and animals for food. Hence, they are heterotrophic. Chlorophyll is absent within the cells. Growth in animals visibly stops after a certain period of time. Dichotomous keys. It is very easy to use dichotomous keys to classify and identify organisms. Categorization of organisms using the presence or absence of a characteristic feature is known as a dichotomous key. It is more suitable to use external features that can be easily observed. Following figure shows how a dichotomous key is used to classify and identify some leaves and animals. Summary. There are living things, organisms, as well as non-living things in our environment. Organisms can be classified into three major groups as plants, animals and microorganisms. Growth, nutrition, respiration, movements and reproduction are the main characteristics of living organisms. There are many differences between plants and animals. There is a vast diversity among animals as well as among plants. Dichotomous key can be used to classify and identify plants and animals. Thank you. For more videos and study material, please subscribe our channel Science and Technology Online Classroom.